smoked haddock with, that's a nice smoked haddock here, with like a creamy sauce. So we're going to use crème fraîche, 150 ml of milk, which is going to poach in the, we're going to poach the smoked haddock in that. First of all, you put the haddock into the saucepan. Not saucepan, frying pan, should I say. About a 10 inch pan, frying pan. Then what we do, spread it out, crack some black pepper onto the smoked haddock, quite liberally. So it all nicely infuses. We'll let some heat get into that for a minute, and then we'll add the cream, the milk, not creme. Okay. I've taken the liberty of boiling some new potatoes. They'll do for about 10 minutes, something like that, 10-15 minutes. And then we'll add the sugar snap peas as an accompaniment to the dish. We've also got some fresh, what's it called? Chives. Sorry, chives. I'm corrected. Need a pair of scissors. Ready to cut those when I can find some. But don't worry, I'll find a knife and do something later. Okay, let's just turn those down. Thank you. Senior management. Okay, so now we're getting some heat into these. Haddock. It's about 400 grams of haddock. You can buy them anywhere frozen from any of the supermarkets. Quite a cheap dish. Very, very tasty. So now we've got some heat going into that. I will add the 150 ml of milk, which won't cover the haddock, but it'll actually poach it. So that's that done. All we've got to do is now let it boil away for about 8 to 12 minutes, depending on how much you've got and how much you want to do it. That will get some nice heat into it. And then what we should do then is, after about 8 to 12 minutes, we'll remove the haddock onto a plate. And you want to be careful when you do this, because you can break the haddock, obviously, as it cooks. So we'll just use a spatula for that. And there we are, it's boiling away nicely, or starting to. This is a delicious dish. Very simple to make, very easy to make, very cheap to make, and absolutely perfect, very filling as well. Ideal for, I suppose, if you like a hearty meal, a couple of people, or you could do it for the whole family and just bulk it out with potatoes or any other vegetables. But certainly a lovely dish. We are now about 3-4 minutes into it. And let that bubble away. Oh, when you take it out of the packet frozen, it's best to tip any excess moisture and water and so on away from it, and drain the haddock. Put it on a plate, let it drain off, and then add it to the pan. And this will poach very nicely. I mean, it's like watching paint dry, this is. But yes, very, very nice. They are bubbling away nicely. If you look at it, it's starting to simmer. I'll just move these out a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit, just so it comes right down onto the simmer. Just going to take it on in case it catches on the pan. Make sure it doesn't catch on the pan. Just going to take it off the heat for a minute because it's boiling now. Get those moving around. And then back onto the pan. We'll turn the heat down so that it will it'll poach nicely. We're on about 2 actually, maybe put it down to 1. You don't want the milk to curdle, really. Now the crème fraîche, you put about 2 tablespoonfuls of crème fraîche in there when you add it. I will show you shortly what we do on that. And say, very, very simple dish. Let's just turn this up a bit. Boiling away with the old tatties. It's boiling nicely, that. And you can see it will go opaque as you do the as the fish cooks. It will go opaque. So not quite done on the top. Sometimes I flip them over, you know, just to give them a little bit of extra. Oops. And that just does the top. Then you just poach that and then flip them back over again so that they're. There we are. It's a bit of a messy one, but there we are. And I shall put that on for a couple of minutes. Okay, you can see it's got the skins on it. Hopefully that will do. That'll poach through for a minute or 2. Now I'll flip it back over. We're now into about 6-7 minutes of it. So I should be then removing it from the pan. Once that's just heated through, just going to turn it up a little bit on the heat. And then I shall flip it back over once we're up and running with some heat. Let's just put it up a little bit more. Delicious dish, this. But some people don't like smoked. You can use ordinary haddock, but you can spice it up with a bit of flavour, chilli or anything like that. Just make it your own. As they say in Asia, ayah, which is do what you want. Just going to get it poked through on there. Just going to turn it up a bit more. Now I'm going to flip back over. Flip back over again. So we've got the yellow bit showing. And then we should bring the heat up again. That will pick up again in a moment. We're now about 8 minutes into it. What I'm going to do is just bring the heat up a little bit. There we are, bringing up the heat nicely. Then what I shall do is remove the fish. That's what it went. Alright, okay, so what I'm going to do now is remove the fish and put it on a plate to stand while I make the sauce up. as you can see, the it's nicely poached. Well, get this one out. There we are, sit that there for a few minutes. And then while we make the sauce up, so I shall add this fish back in once we've made the sauce up. Then what you do is you bring it up to the heat, get it simmer, get some heat into the thing, and then we shall add the crème fraîche. So roughly, a couple of tablespoons. I'm using a dessert spoon, I know, but I can make it up to a tablespoon. So crème fraîche. Let's get some heat into the thing. Right, we need a whisk. A little whisk. Got a little whisk. And this is where you want a nice little whisk to whisk everything up. We're bringing it up to the boil, bringing up some heat onto this. That's heating up very, very nicely. And then what I'm going to do now is just turn it down a little bit on the heat, and I'm going to add the crème fraîche, like so. That's roughly 2 tablespoons full. Give it a good slop on there. Put that to one side. It'll do, this actual quantity will probably do another meal actually. So what you do now is just whisk it in. Whisk it round. Doesn't matter if there's a bit of fish in it, but it will add to the flavour of everything. As you can see, nicely mixed in there. And what we should do is bring some heat up into that and let it simmer. And then we shall add the fish back in for about 2 to 3 minutes. Whisking every so often. Let's get some more heat into the thing and bring it up to a simmering heat, which we will do. I prefer gas actually cooking rather than electric. It's much more controllable gas, but there we are. I have what I have. As you can see, it's starting to thicken up on here. So as the heat goes into that, I will give it another whisk and it will thicken up. And then we will add back in the fish. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to put the sugar snap peas into the in with the potatoes. That's bringing the heat up nicely. Oh, it smells really good, that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the fish back into the mix, like so. That'll nicely infuse them. And there we have it. Fish back in. Oh, turn it down, we don't want it to boil. Just want to turn it right down. That'll get some heat into the thing. We need to put the sugar snap peas into the... See how we're doing with the potatoes. Well, they're nicely soft. That's great. Get some sugar snap peas. Pop those in. They only need a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. That'll boil up nicely. I'm just going to take that off the heat just to bring the heat down a bit. Let it cool off a little bit. Then pop it back on again. Right. And just take that off a little bit more again. Bring it back on. And then what I shall do, very last thing, get the scissors, chop some chives into it, and then we have a meal for us. For us both, don't we, darling? And it's, I've already boiled it, I mean, you'll get a thicker sauce, but it's absolutely gorgeous, this dish. It really is. I'm just going to turn it off for a minute, just so that it'll carry on boiling a bit, but let's put one on again. So we are now about 10 minutes into it. So we should have a couple more minutes with the fish here. Right, so I'm going to put the chives in here. Plenty of them. Don't be liberal with it. Mix it in. This will cook very quickly, very, very quickly. And there we have it. You have a meal with a nice sauce down. I'm just going to let it boil down a little bit more. Just while these other things do, and then we can dish up. Just throw that away. And I will put it out on the dish and show you the plate. Just wipe that top if I may. And there you have a smoked haddock fish dish at the moment. I'm just going to let it a little bit more. Absolutely delicious. Turn the heat up a little bit, let's boil it off a little bit more. Just get the vegetables out in a moment. Oh, that's bubbling away nicely. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Right, let's get the thing dished up. Here we have one on there, one on there. In fact, we'll be a bit greedy and have one on there as well. And another one on there. Right, let's see if we can just going to boil that sauce up, but again, boil it up a little bit more, the sauce, and we'll just try that and just see if we can render it down a little bit more, get the sauce a bit thicker. I might actually add some more crème fraîche just to thicken it up a bit more, just a little bit. Right, let's get these vegetables out and served up. So we've got some sugar snap peas. Okay, not be the most gracious way of serving it out, but the results are saying it's a delicious meal and very hearty as well. I'm going to say that's safely done on there. Yep, potatoes are done. And 2 new potatoes, one on there, one on there, and one on there. And there we have it. You see it's now boiling. And what I'm going to do is obviously just turn the water off. Just see if we can get this rendered down a little bit more on the sauce. Just trying to thicken the sauce up a little bit more, so get a little bit more thickness with the sauce when we eat it. Wouldn't harm a little bit more crème fraiche, no problem. Give it a whisk round. That will do quite nicely, I think. All those lovely juices round, mix it all in. Just render it down, keep mixing. Obviously don't let it burn on the pan, that would not be good. That's getting quite violent. See all the steam coming off it, so we should, by rights, have some lovely sauce on there, which will thicken up as it cools. We've got more than we need actually, but never mind. I'm sure we can find a use for that. And there we have it, smoked haddock in a creamy or crème fraiche sauce with new potatoes and sugar snap peas.